Hey guys, Frank here, your virtual general aviation aviator, and today I am in the Aerobask EPIC E1000. Now, this is an aircraft that I don't normally fly, and it's been in my hangar for quite a while. Um, Occasionally, I'll pull it out and fly it, but I'm not really a big fan of any of my aircraft with the Garmin 1000. So I'm hoping to change that. Anyway, I got a mission, and my mission is to fly uh, some folks, a family, and you see them in the back of the aircraft from Charlotte to Raleigh-Durham. Now, if any of you have watched any of my videos, you know that I tend to spend a lot of time on the ground before I get wheels up. So if you want to just see me get wheels up and wheels down, then look at the description below by clicking the show more button, and you should see some time indexes that'll take you right to the takeoff or pre-taxi. Okay, with that said, let's get in the aircraft. But first, we got a couple of housekeeping things that we need to do. Well, before we do that, since I'm new to this aircraft, let me just talk a little bit about the things that I've learned about the EPIC E1000. The EPIC E1000 is a new certificated aircraft. I think that there have only been two produced it's a U.S. based aircraft company, and I think they've only produced two of them for production use as of 2021. This is February 2021. Or it's possible that a third one has rolled off the production line, but I have not heard. So um, the the aircraft uses a Pratt and Whitney um, PT6, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure whether it's a single stage or two stage Pratt and Whitney. I believe it may be a two stage one, sort of like the Pilatus and the TBM. Um, the it has 1,200, is it 100, 1,000, 1,200 horsepower, or maybe 12,000 horsepower. Gee whiz, I don't know why that number evades me, but anyway, I will put the correct one in the notes. Well, I'll flash it on the screen right now. Um, Whereas the TBM uses 850. That's what it is. It's 850, not eight. So it's 1,200. 1,200 shaft horsepower, whereas the TBM uses 1,200 shaft horsepower, and the Pilatus PC6 uses 1,200. I think it's 1,250 shaft horsepower. And the Pilatus PC6, although it flies slower, it's heavier. This aircraft has a carbon fuselage, so um, you don't see a lot of rivets. You don't see hardly any rivets in the fuselage. It's just a smooth single cast piece of carbon, um, carbon composite material. And as we know, carbon is light and it's as strong as steel. So this this aircraft is built for speed. It has, from what I understand, ups usurted. I hope I didn't butcher that word. The TBM was once known as the fattest turboprop aircraft available for commercial use or for non-military use, and now I think the Epic has claimed that throne. Um, of course, something else will come along, and I'm hoping that that Cessna is still developing the Denali, which should which should be working on becoming certificated if it's not already. Uh, it would be the only turboprop that doesn't use a Pratt and Whitney engine. But well, when I say the only turboprop, I mean the only single pilot rated turboprop that doesn't use a turbo. Let me get it out. The only single pilot rated turboprop that doesn't use a. Oh man, that thought is right on the tip of my. Anyway, that that doesn't use the Pratt and Whitney. That's what I'm trying to say. So they are going with a different engine manufacturer, and I think it's going to be a GE engine. But I digress, as I do in all of my videos. Okay, so the kids and the couple that's back there, and so I've asked. Actually, I could use a co-pilot or someone in the co-pilot seat. So let's go ahead and get rid of these static elements here. And I should mention that I don't see a quick way to bring up the menu for the Aerobask. So as far as I know, the only way to get here is to get it from the plug-in menu. Okay, so let's get rid of these static elements and make them so that we can see them. All right. And I got enough power not to need the, okay, so now the pilot and the co-pilot, the person that's riding the left seat is with me. Um, of course, the pilot doesn't look like me, but that's another story. Um, Kudos to Microsoft Flight Sim for being able to give simmers a choice of people. But anyway, I digress again. Let's see. So let's go ahead and close the door here. And I'm not going to go through the options, but there are some options that if you have this aircraft or if you plan to get it, you can go through. But this is about the only thing that you can do in the menu. Of course, I do have custom load manager on, and that's because I like to be able to control my own passengers and adjust the weight, the fuel tanks the way I see fit, without having to pull them up in X-plane, which is basically the same thing, slide them up. All right, so I guess 82.4 and 82.2 gallons is sufficient. All right, so we're done with this guy. All right, so let's go ahead and get in our cockpit, and it's all glass cockpit, the G1000. And the only reason, from what I understand, the word Garmin is not on here anyway is because I think Aerobask took a couple of liberties, um, and I'm not sure what they are, but they renamed it from the Garmin G1000 to the X1000. So let's get started here. Now I'm not going to go through the checklist. Um, if there is a checklist available for this aircraft, and if I go through it, then it will literally take me probably 30 to 45 minutes before I start taxiing. But suffice it to say that I've got a flow that I like to use to get it started. All right, so with all aircraft, the first thing I always like to do is make sure I got my fuel turned on and I'm on my right tank. I'm just going to switch that to my left tank, and um, and for my startup sequence, and I commend not Aerobask, but EPIC for doing this. Is basically I'm just going to go left to right. Okay, so my brake is set. This is my brake. All right, so I'm going to go battery one. Do a little quick check here. Make sure that I got all my controls pulled to the back and that they are um, in the right position. Okay. All right. Battery two. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see this stuff. Avionics master, left fuel pump, and actually I am gonna pull out a little bit so we can see these instruments gauges. Right fuel pump. Okay. Only thing changed was the amperage. And I am going to go ahead and turn on the starter generator. Now, I'm not sure whether I should turn that on before I was part of pre-start. Okay, so I got everything turned on at the top. Now, whether or not this is correct, I haven't been through the checklist enough to know for sure. But at this point, I want to clear prop and make sure nobody's out there. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to turn my NIDA on, hit the starter, and my NGs are coming up. Okay, I'm at 11. Now I'm introduce fuel and my ITT is lighting off. My prop is turning. It's hot, but it should come right down. And she's cooling now. I'm at 55 NG and ITT is in the green. Torque is in the green. I got a good start. All right, so I can turn off my NIDA and now I can set the fuel button to auto select. So this will go from left to right automatically and I don't have to think about it. It does have a pusher on it and I'm gonna turn that on when I get too close to stall, and I have done that several times. The yoke will start to violently vibrate. Okay. Um, all right. So I'm still going left to right. Autopilot is on. Trims are on. The autopilot trims are on, and my door is shut. So let's get the seal. Let's let's get the the um, the door seal set, and that did make a sound normally, but I didn't hear it. In fact, let me go over here and adjust my volumes. Um, my master is way down. I like to keep my exterior noise kind of low. So I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to turn the master up a little bit and hopefully you can hear that now. Okay. But I don't want the engine sounds to drown me out. All right. So let me take this back off and I'm still going left to right. Okay. I did start with my beacon on. So um, I didn't check it, but I'm using the alpha yoke, and at least on the yoke, the beacon is on. So uh, I should have checked it before I did start because it is illuminated. And unfortunately, the beacon was off, but it was on. When I checked, when I looked at the button, it was on. Anyway, my bad. Okay, like lights. Okay, so we'll turn the taxi light on just before we get ready to taxi. And icing, I don't really need any icing. I am going to go ahead and turn my inertial separator on and my pitot heat. Okay, so my CAS, my crew alert systems messages show that the only thing that it's alerting me to is that the parking brakes are on. There's another word for that, the annunciator, I guess. Um, and I don't know whether this should be referred to as CAS or an annunciator. If you know, please leave it in the comments below. A good pilot is always learning. All right, even a good sim pilot. And some days I'm not a good sim pilot at all, but who else? All right, so still going left to right. And let's get over here to the right some. And let's go ahead and turn, let's say outside air temperature is -4 Celsius. That's about, no, that's not right. That's ISA. It's 9 Celsius. So that's 32 plus, see, I think for each degree, that's two, right? So, and I'm just doing a quick calculation to turn it into Fahrenheit. So 32 plus 18 is 50. So that's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I got 18 by taking 9, multiplying it times 2. Okay. So let's, at 50, that's pretty chilly to the human body. Humans are um, tropical animals, whether or not you want to believe that. I know some of us don't believe that. I do see some of us get out with no jackets on in this kind of weather and try to look and act as if we're completely comfortable. Yeah, right. All right, but I digress. Okay, let's get the ATIS. We're in Charlotte, so the ATIS is 121.15. All right, so let's move this down. And one thing about the Aerobask is I can change stuff without having to use the knob, um, and I can change the altimeter without having to use the knob. But even though that's a convenience, I need to use the knob so that when I switch to other aircraft and I've got a consistent way of changing stuff that's going to work on all the aircraft. So let's go over here and change it. It was 121.15. I got 123. So let's just bring that down and pop that in. That's on COM2 and RDU. Our destination, since I already know it, is 123.8, I believe. So I'm gonna leave that there. And Charlotte ground. Let's listen to our ATIS. Okay, so let's do that now.
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Mike.
Mike,
2100 Zulu weather.
I need a pen.
Wind 180 at 8. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 22,000 few. Temperature 9. Dew point -6. Altimeter 3044.
3044.
Arriving runways 18 left, 18 right, 18 center. Departing runways 18 left, 18 center. Advise on initial contact. You have Mike.
Mike. Need to hear it one more time to get my wins. I know we're using 1.8.
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Mike. 2100 Zulu weather. Wind 180 at 8, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 22,000 few, temperature 9,
Okay,
dew point
no
minus
clouds
6.
below 22,000.
Altimeter 3044. Arriving runways 18
All right,
left,
so I'm done with
18
that.
right.
It's a beautiful day to fly, guys. Beautiful day to fly. Let's see if I can get back in the pilot seat here. I slid that over, and actually I got some hotkeys. I don't know them by heart, so because I don't know them by heart, then I may not use them. I do have this X camera set up, I mean installed, and I need to get a little better at using it. Okay, I'm full of digressions today. Go figure. All right, so we got our ATIS, and let's see, altimeter is 3044. So let's dial that in. Altimeter is down here. No, that's altitude. Altimeter, barometer. That's why I need to use these buttons. 3044. Yeah, okay, I see it now. Let me zoom in a little bit for your benefit, because I know when I'm watching other people's videos, sometimes it's hard to see what they're doing when they are zoomed out. And when I look back on some of mine, it's hard to see what I'm doing on playback. Okay, so 3044, and I know we want 18. Um, and let's zoom into this runway a little bit. All right, that guy's taking off the range. Okay, so 18 is up here. So that means that we're going to take this, we're going to go out and take this guy. We will hold short here. Um, we'll hold short here and then cross and take the runway here and take off to the south. All right. And let's do a little quick flight plan. Okay, so we are back in the cockpit, and we got our frequencies. Let's get them dialed in. So all we got is ground and tower. Ground is, let's see if we can't just switch this and then dial it up to 9. And switch that in and then put tower, which is point 1. Okay, so we've already got our clearance delivery. We've already got a squawk code, which let's use 7604. All right, so code was 7604. It's my squawk. And let's do altitude reporting. And that's our radio. And now we can call ground. All right. And let's make sure that I don't have anything else here that I need to set. Okay. Let me set my winds up. I do like to have that up. Wind. And that's going to populate right here. And I like option 3. So right now I'm on the ground, so I'm not seeing anything. Okay. And back. And back again. Okay. So I'm ready. Are you ready? All right. So let's do this. And one more thing before I taxi. I do want to set my altitude, and let's say that Charlotte's going to give us runway heading. Then that switches off to departure, and departure will give us a heading if so, and vectors, and then tell us to navigate. They would probably vector us toward our intercept for our departure. But anyway, I'm not going through all of that, but I do want to change this altitude to initially 2000, and um, and I don't. Let's see. I wonder if I can set this on the ground. The climb rate. Climb out at 12. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Charlotte ground Epic November 335 Alpha Kilo is at GA ready to taxi. Taxi to runway 18, hold short runway 23 via Delta Epic 5 Alpha Kilo. All right. I hope I got that right. All right, so let's unfeather here. And so I just turn that up, and let's clear right, uh, clear right, and clear left, or just clear left. So I guess we're good. And sun is going down. Let's put on our taxi lights, and let's go ahead and turn our nav lights on. Sorry, I'm not showing you the buttons as I hit them, but That was taxi and now. And this is Delta, I believe. Ah, so I am not on the taxiway. My bad. Not bad. Okay, so I need to turn and get on the yellow brick road. I came down this yellow brick road over here thinking that it was this one from memory. Of course, in real life, I would have a lot more visibility. So I say that to say that gives me a break. Okay, so I'm in the movement area now, the non-movement area, what that was referred to. And I almost have to close my eyes as I swing around. I'm only getting about 20 frames, which for me, that's not too bad at Charlotte. Um, Sometimes, for some reason, I can get as little as 13 and 14. Okay, so I got a 13 knot taxi here. Pull out my cell phone and turn up my household heat. Okay, this is where I'm holding short. I don't see anything coming. Charlotte ground, EPIC 5 Alpha Kilo is holding short, runway 23, cross runway 23, EPIC Alpha Kilo, 5 Alpha Kilo. Okay. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can hear the engines okay. And so I am going up to the very top. All right. And I guess, I mean, looking right here, because earlier I said I was going to turn right here and pick up. I couldn't, anyway. So it just looked weird for a second there when I was looking at it on the other. Okay, so I can switch to tower and make a call. Charlotte Tower, Epic 335 Alpha Kilo is holding at runway 18 left, ready to depart. Clear for takeoff, runway holding for incoming traffic, runway 18 left, 5 Alpha Kilo. Okay, so that's why I had to look for this traffic. It's can be challenging being the controller and the tower. Line up and wait, runway 18 left, 5 Alpha Kilo. All right, so they told me I can line up and wait. Landing lights can come on, strobe lights can come on, taxi go off, condition go to 4, and we'll line up and wait. Clear, make sure that nothing's coming in. They're a little bit busy, so it won't be much delay. Clear for takeoff, runway 18 left, 5 Alpha Kilo. Okay, so they just cleared me for takeoff. So set my torque to takeoff power. And 78, yeah, it's a good takeoff power, 79.8 rather. Okay, rotate. Hold that center line, gear up, tap the brake. I didn't put in flaps, and there's no need to do so now. Okay, and align my head and book. Yaw damper comes on. Autopilot can come alive. And we're climbing out at 1200. And at this point, tower will probably hand me out to departure. Uh, and of course, I would have a departure frequency. But at this point, I'm just going to go straight to the flight plan, and then we want to go ahead and tell it to fly straight to Gantz. Actually, before I do that, I want to help it out. I've tried this before, and if I don't start this turn to the left or to the east, it won't start for me. And now let's actually I should train myself to use the head bug for this kind of stuff. Let's see, what's that bug heading? And head. All right. And direct to Gantz. Enter. And nav. All right. So that starts me on my, hopefully, about that. I'm spinning in and out here. Now that's okay. And then I can, let's say they gave me 5,000. That was up. Frequency is up. And let's get to that 2,000 feet a minute. And I think that was for Charlotte. I had some ortho for Charlotte, but it was on a different drive, and that drive failed. Or it started giving me trouble. So I lost my ortho for the southeastern United States. Okay, so I'm on the magenta line. That's a good sign. And range. Let's see. 3 nautical miles, 7 nautical miles, 12.5 nautical miles. Look ahead. So that would be about 6 nautical miles, I think. All right. So I've reached 1,000 to go to 5,000. My final is 7,000. We got 2,000 to go to reach the cruise altitude. Okay. So this is us, guys. Look like I can turn those landing lights off, which I just did. Now, there was a time when I was a stickler for checklists, and somewhere when it come time to descend and land, for some reason I would always abandon my checklist. I tell you, if I were a private pilot working on my instruments, it would be a super challenge for me. But I think the way they teach that stuff is just drill. Okay, so departure would, let's say they cleared us for our final altitude. All right, so let me zoom in so you guys can see what I did. I just changed this from 5 to 7. Now, vertical speed goes up, and we'll take 1,500. And it's getting dark. Back. Did I swing nav? I didn't need to swing nav. Not really using that now, but I gotta be careful what I spin that scroll wheel on unless I change some stuff. All right, so torque is at 50%. RPMs is 1,700. ITT is in the green. NG is in the green. We're looking good. Let's add a little torque because we want to cruise at about 200 knots. So let's try 70%. And we were climbing, so that'll be leveling off. We should pick up speed relatively easy. Okay, so pull back on that torque just a touch. Now, if I wanted 200 exactly, I could, how should I say, play with my torque and get her down to 200, but I'll take the extra speed, especially since I was a little bit slow out of the gate. No pun intended. All right. So you can see the terrain is scrolling by. I'll tell you, these turboprops are some gorgeous aircraft. They're fast, and they are interesting to fly. It's almost like flying a jet. And technically, I am using a jet engine. It just has I am using a jet engine. It just has a propeller attached to it. Hence, turboprop, turbine. Turbine is primarily a jet. Is what the jet engines are. Turbine engines. So, I should have roughly a half hour of flying. Waypoint am I headed towards 11 nautical miles before Gantz. I think this is Gantz right here. Let me scroll in. All right, so yeah, it's Gantz is right there in magenta. It's right here over this lake. So I'm within 9 nautical miles of it. And let's see the lake out there. Okay, yeah, there's the lake. All right. So we're starting our turn in a second. We're 238 on the indicated airspeed. That's 271 knots over the ground. And we got a true airspeed of 250 knots. We got a 3-knot crosswind and a 13-knot quarter-wind tailwind. So yeah, we that extra push is saving us on fuel and time. I'm showing about 27 frames per minute, frames per second. Sorry, and that's doable. It's not the best, but it's doable. It works for smooth flight. Of course, 40 is ideal. Anything above 40 is just gravy. All right, so we're making our turn to Liberty. And Liberty is 32 nautical miles. And I'm getting this information from various places. So I'm on the GPS, autopilot, and yaw damper zone. Altitude is captured at 7,000 feet. We are in between Gantz and Liberty. Directions towards Liberty, 29 nautical miles. Barron is 056. And our ground speed is 272. Our desired track is 056. We actually is 057, but we do have some winds that the autopilot is adjusting for. Well, our track now is 057, so we're right on that track. ETA to Liberty is just under 6 minutes, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get set up for RDU. Of course, in real life, we'll be talking with, for this altitude and these distances, we may not do center approach. Charlotte approach. Yeah, Charlotte approach wouldn't extend far enough to avoid center. And center for this area of the country would be Washington Center. So we'd probably be speaking with Washington Center right now, and they would hand us off to RDU, to Raleigh approach. And Raleigh approach would hand us off to Tower, and we sat down, and Tower would hand us off to ground and we go park. In reality, but what we're gonna not do a lot of those steps and just talk directly to Tower. All right. And let's see. So I'm gonna pop up Sky Vector. You guys won't be able to see it. My ForeFlight subscription expired, and since I've been using the 750, I have really not been using ForeFlight that much, because I get so much good information from the 750. So I want, when I come into Raleigh, I think I want to come into 2-3 left. If they still using the 2-3s. So I'm going to go ahead and dial in my frequencies. And you know what? I never even switched the tower when I took off. Shame on me. 118.1. 27. 29. Tower is ground for Raleigh-Durham. And tower is going to be 127.45. I do have an add-on that changes the light, the ground, the terrain, the city lights a little bit. And then one to kind of extend them a little bit. I think it distracts a little bit from the immersion to see them pop in, and I would like to see them extended out to the horizon, and one of my plug-ins is supposed to help with that, but I'm not sure. Either it's not on or it's not doing a lot. Okay, so we're almost at Liberty. 2 nautical miles to go, 2.8 nautical miles to go. And we'll make this turn to Liberty. And then we can start configuring to get down. So after I turn Liberty, I want to lower my altitude to, let's say, the approachment. I was lower to 4,000. 4,000. 4,000 at over 200 knots with 40 nautical miles to go. Actually, we'll hold at the 7,004 feet per minute. And it is getting dark, but it's a beautiful night. And currently I got lights on in the cabin. Let's see. So let's play around with the lights and see if we can adjust that cabin light. Sure I can, I just don't know where. Well, I say I'm sure that I can. I believe that I can. Let's look at it back here. Now this is where I really need to set up the other camera system, because I really dislike getting out of the pilot seat. Okay, now that's clickable. Those are on, and I didn't see it switches at the top on my panel for interior lights. And here, I'm probably looking all over them. Let's see, let's look on this side. Oh, this is cool. The co-pilot get information that would be useful to the pilot, but I guess I do have that information just in a different form. I like this digital form here. Cabin, this is cabin altitude. Yeah. So this is just different. This is cabin pressure information. And my cabin feels like it's at 6,000 feet. But I still didn't find the lights. Oh well. When I don't know something, then I do like finding out, but I don't like finding out while I'm in a session. Okay, so what do we have here? These are my panel lights, and these are my display lights. Yeah, definitely got these lights on. Oh, there we go. Turn them down. Don't make that right. Okay, so we had 23 miles from RDU. Let's say the tower. Go ahead and access to the sand to 4,000. And we'll take 1,000 feet per minute. Pull back on our torque, because we don't want to break the indicated speed limit. And I need to get ATIS. That's not the frequency for ATIS. Okay, let's pop that in. And come to
Raleigh-Durham INTL information November. 2200 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 25,000 view. Temperature 6. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3047. Arriving runway 14. Departing runway 14. Advise on initial contact you have November.
I didn't write any of that down. That's November.
Raleigh-Durham INTL information November. 2200 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10.
Light and variable.
Sky conditions 25,000 view. Temperature 6. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3047. Arriving runway 14.
All right, 3047.
Advise on initial contact. You have November.
And barrel would be this guy right here. All right. So 1-4 is the little military highway.
IATL information November.
Turn this off.
2200 Zulu weather.
The little military. So let's get vectored a little bit. So let's change the heading. And then let's turn. Yeah, that's a good turn. There. And I'm gonna turn this light up a little bit so I don't read what I'm doing here. All right, just a touch. And let's say they bring me down to 2000. Out. Rate speed goes down to 15. Yeah, so 1,000. That's still a good descent rate. And we want 2-3. So what we're going to do is fly a right downwind for runway 23. This is 5 right. I'm sorry, this is 5 left, 5 right, 2-3 left, and 2-3 right. We want 2-3 left. So we want to try not to be too much in the path of other traffic. In fact, I guess we can speed up a tad. And I realize I'm coming in sort of on a 45. Well, not quite perpendicular to the airport is what I mean, not perfectly perpendicular. All right, 400 to go. And I'm visual. Okay, next, a pattern is 1500. So once we make that turn, we're down in 1500. So now it's taken off. And yeah, top of tower, traffic in sight, EPIC 55 Alpha Kilo. Correction, 35 Alpha Kilo. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is RDU. The time now is approximately 6:30 p.m. and we should be touching down in about 10 minutes. Not even. Okay. So let's swing our heading bug. If I can read which bug is the heading. Okay, let's swing our heading bug to 5. And let's get on down. I should have went on down the pattern. It's the altitude, further speed goes down, and come down at 15. Power back some. Okay, landing lights on, and we drop gear in just a minute. We are pretty close to the highway, to the runway, closer than I want to be. So adjust my heading out just a little. Gear down. I mean, first notch of flaps. And gear down. So we in slow controlled flight. Okay, I think we're beam out runway. All right, and I'll turn base, then the final. Okay, and do that badly. Yaw damper can come off, autopilot can come off. I should have closed up my inertia separator a long time ago, but I just remembered that it's still on because it would be time to turn it off, turn it on if it wasn't. Okay. And let's see, what the devil am I looking at? There's my shaker, and I overflew big time. And this is a go around. This is a go around. All right, flaps up, get up. And I probably would have done much better if I was flying by hand on the approach and not trying to rely on the autopilot. Okay, I can turn the flight director off, I don't need it. Pull it back on the torque. All right. Now, let's start crosswind. Okay, turn downwind, which is going to be a turn crosswind turn. All right, there's my airport. Okay, midfield. Report midfield. 35 Alpha Kilo is midfield. Clear the land, 35 Alpha Kilo. Okay, so they cleared me the land yet again. This time I'm gonna go out a little bit further, so I'm not in a Cessna. Okay, I'm 177. Let's drop a notch of flaps. Back pressure against that balloon effect. Retrim. Alright, so I should have been descending a little bit, and I'm just now starting to descend. And if I can keep it around 700 on that, well, 500 on that descend, and go ahead and make that turn. Okay, that's better. Somehow or another wound up still a little high, but I'm far enough out to live with it. Flaps 4, gear down. Power back. Trim off some of this pressure and line up. 112. Doing 800 feet per minute. Descends somewhere. Okay, landing gear is okay. Landing lights are on. Condition is 4. Flaps are 4. Transition the center line. Reverse thrust. Let's see, hold the center line. Get back to the center line. All right. And exit the runway. All right. Ground 121.7. Correction, 121.9. EPIC 5 kilo alpha, 5 alpha kilo. All right. Raleigh ground, EPIC 335 alpha kilo is clear the runway, taxi to parking. General aviation, that is. Taxi via Bravo, correction, taxi via Alpha, Juliet, and let's see, taxi via Alpha, Charlie, Juliet, Juliet 1, EPIC 5 alpha kilo. Trying to remember what the runway designations are. And, okay, so I need my landing, my taxi lights, condition level needs to come down. 22 knot taxi. It's not bad. All right, can you read this stuff? Okay, we're at Alpha 5. And let's see, I think he said Charlie. So I'm coming up on Delta. So we don't want Delta. And Charlie, yep, there's Charlie. And first time I got this right. Okay, Charlie to Juliet. And this is Juliet. And Juliet 1. Yep. And this is Juliet 1. I can't use Microsoft Flight Simulator to do this because the runway designations are totally wrong, and I just refuse to, well, I they're just wrong, and I want to simulate what's in real life. Um, Now these aircraft are parked in the wrong orientation. At RDU, everything is parked this way, perpendicular to the buildings. I'm sorry, parallel to the buildings rather than perpendicular to them. Okay, so FBO is landmark, marshaller. I know you guys can't see them, but I've got a vivid imagination, so I see them. All right, so we are there, and see the cross signals. So let's go ahead and set our brakes. Brakes are set. I should have brakes on a cast. Uh, Parking brakes. Let's see. Why am I not seeing? Uh, there we go. On that now, see it. I see it now. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. Okay. Taxi lights can come off and nav lights can come off. Oh man, I did not turn the strobes off when I got off the runway. My bad. Nav lights come off. Um, Inertial separator and pitot heat can come off. And I'm kind of going to shut down in the opposite direction that I started so I can release the door seal. But first, I am going to pull this condition level down to cut my fuel off. All right, my fuel is cut off, so my prop is just free spinning. All right, trims off, autopilot off, pusher is off, fuel auto select off. Um, Alt standby is this guy, and it will go off eventually. Starter generator can go off, fuel pumps off, and avionics master off, battery 2 off, and let's open the door. This is not a Cessna, so I don't think I'm going to open the door there. Um, all right, door is opening and master battery off. And this guy is powering down as I thought it would. Okay, it's on a whole different system than all the others. So if if I were to lose the main stuff, then I still got this for the backup, and it's powering down. And we are at RDU. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this flight. It For me, I don't know. For me, it was a blast of fun flying this little short flight from Charlotte to RDU. Truth is, even though I spent what feels like hours to you guys, it only felt like a few minutes to me. And in real life, uh, every flight can take uh, an hour to 3 hours longer in the planning and pre-flight phases than in the air. So from that perspective, the flight is a little bit more true to life. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it again, and
Y'all come back now. Cheers.